And I've always liked LeBron, but him being a bully, it turned me off, Dan. Going on Pat's show just bullying people. Because, LeBron, he's a control freak. He knows everything he's doing.
LeBron James is facing intense backlash after comments from Charles Barkley that went far beyond the usual GOAT debate. Barkley, who has long defended Michael Jordan but consistently respected LeBron as a player, accused him of being a bully and a control freak, signaling a complete shift in how he views LeBron as a person. The criticism felt personal, not basketball-related, and suggested that something had fundamentally changed. Barkley wasn't alone either, as Scottie Pippen joined in with pointed remarks, making it clear that several old-school legends are now speaking openly after holding their tongues for years. The sudden wave of criticism has sparked debate over whether this is fair accountability or simply resentment toward modern stars. The controversy began in March 2025 when LeBron appeared on The Pat McAfee Show and publicly went after the media, specifically targeting Stephen A. Smith and Brian Windhorst, two of the most prominent figures who have covered his career, including Windhorst, who has followed LeBron since his teenage years in Akron.
I seen Brian Windhorst on one of these shows not too long ago. Says he's like my fucking best friend. These guys are just weird.
After more than 2 decades of loyalty, LeBron James appeared to shatter that relationship in a single live on-air moment. Charles Barkley watched the situation unfold, and just days later, he sat down with Dan Patrick and delivered one of the harshest critiques of LeBron he has ever given. There was no filtering, no diplomacy, and no attempt to soften his words. Barkley spoke with complete bluntness and made it clear he was done holding back. Where you can direct a voice, create realistic dialogue, and so much more. Edit these placeholders to get started.
They both had an awful week. LeBron, he's too big to be that type of bully. To bully Stephen A. and to bully Brian Windhorst. Brian Windhorst is a sweet person, man. He's just trying to do his thing. And I've always liked LeBron, but him being a bully, it turned me off, Dan.
Charles Barkley finally said what had clearly been building in his mind, and it wasn't flattering. For years, Barkley had openly respected LeBron James as a player, often defending him when other former players criticized him and backing him in countless debates. But this time was different. On live national television, Barkley flat out called LeBron a bully. He wasn't talking about declining performance, missed shots, or on-court mistakes. This wasn't basketball analysis at all. Barkley made it personal, saying LeBron's attitude had completely turned him off. It was the kind of statement that goes beyond critique and signals a deeper shift. A former supporter openly admitting he no longer likes what LeBron has become.
Stephen A. is a good dude, man. For him to react, LeBron, like I say, I blame him for starting the bullying, going on Pat's show just bullying people. Because, LeBron, he's a control freak. He knows everything he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows everything he's doing. He knew when he walked up to Stephen A. what he was doing.
Barkley wasn't finished. He went even further, calling LeBron James a control freak and insisting that nothing LeBron does is accidental. According to Barkley, every move, every quote, and every on-camera moment is carefully calculated. He pointed specifically to the moment LeBron confronted Stephen A. Smith courtside at a Lakers game, arguing it wasn't spontaneous at all. Barkley believes LeBron knew exactly what he was doing, sending a message, asserting power, and attempting to intimidate. Barkley made it clear he wasn't buying any innocent explanation and said flat out that he wasn't having it. What makes this hit harder is that Barkley's criticism didn't come out of nowhere. This wasn't a sudden flip or a reactionary take. It was the latest chapter in a story Barkley has been quietly building for more than a decade. He has never questioned LeBron's talent, skill, or resume, but he has long questioned something deeper: LeBron's competitive fire. Barkley has repeatedly suggested that LeBron lacks the relentless, all-consuming killer instinct that defined players like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Larry Bird. Back in May 2023, on the Spit and Chicklets podcast, Barkley summed it up by saying there's a difference between being great and being relentless, and in his view, LeBron falls short of the latter. To Barkley, LeBron's greatness is rooted in control and calculation, not obsession and sacrifice. Now in 2025, it feels like Barkley's patience has finally run out. The respect he once showed has faded, replaced by frustration, and he
Greatest players ever. But LeBron's a nice guy. Nobody ever said that shit about Michael and Kobe. Nobody ever said, man, that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, they're nice guys. Nobody ever said that shit. Michael and Kobe, they were dangerous. They'd kill your ass. LeBron's great, but he's a nice guy.
Barkley went even further by calling LeBron a nice guy. And while that might sound harmless on the surface, in Barkley's world and in the era of Jordan, Kobe, and true on-court assassins, that label is an insult. To him, being nice means lacking the cold, ruthless instinct that makes opponents fear you before the ball is even tipped. It suggests a player who wants control more than domination, respect more than intimidation. Barkley didn't soften the message at all, and on that same podcast, he followed it up with a line so blunt that it stopped the internet in its tracks, making it clear just how far his opinion of LeBron had shifted. Where you can direct a voice, create realistic dialogue, and so much more. Edit these placeholders to get started.
He had to learn to be competitive because the killer instinct is not something like I've never, and Michael was one of my best friends ever. And I got to know Kobe a little bit. They will kill you to win. LeBron, he wants to win. But LeBron at the end of the day is a really nice guy. So you can't learn to be a nice.
Barkley's final verdict on LeBron is blunt and unforgiving. You can't learn to be a natural-born killer. In his view, players like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant are simply built differently, born with an inner fire that can't be taught, trained, or manufactured. No matter how many hours LeBron puts in or how many trophies he collects, Barkley believes that ruthless instinct just isn't there. And if this were only Barkley's opinion, LeBron's fans could brush it off as bitterness, boredom, or even click chasing. But that's where the situation gets messy. Barkley isn't standing alone. Just this past January, Scottie Pippen stepped into the conversation as well, reigniting the fire. A 6-time NBA champion, Jordan's right-hand man, and one of the toughest defenders the league has ever seen, Pippen sat down with Patrick Bet-David on the PBD podcast and dropped his own
team standpoint.
Would you put yourself ahead of LeBron as a team standpoint?
My success as a team is more successful than LeBron. I got 6.
Pippen didn't hesitate to make his stance clear. He believes he has been more successful than LeBron James. Yes, he actually said it. The man with 6 championship rings argued that LeBron's trophies and records don't carry the same weight because, in his view, they weren't earned with the same level of loyalty, hunger, and domination. When Patrick Bet-David pushed back and tried to challenge that idea, Pippen stood his ground without flinching. Then he delivered the line that stunned LeBron supporters everywhere. "I didn't chase mine." In one sentence, Pippen drew a sharp contrast between his own path and LeBron's, suggesting that true greatness comes from staying put, enduring the grind, and conquering without moving around to find the perfect situation.
You want individual accolades or you want championships? Because I didn't chase mine.
Pippen's comment was a direct jab at everything LeBron has done since 2010. Leaving Cleveland to form the Miami Super Team with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, returning to Cleveland to play alongside Kyrie Irving, and later jumping to Los Angeles to pair up with Anthony Davis. Pippen's message was unmistakable. In his eyes, LeBron stacked the deck just to compete, while he stayed put and earned all 6 of his championships through loyalty, grit, and sacrifice. And this criticism isn't new. It's been simmering for years. Back in 2018, after Golden State swept LeBron's Cavaliers out of the finals, Barkley went on NBA TV and delivered a take so bold that people still reference it today. It wasn't a hot take, it was conviction. Barkley, who battled Michael Jordan head-to-head and felt that intensity firsthand, believes he knows what separates MJ from everyone else. So when he says LeBron lacks that same fire, he's speaking from experience, not guesswork. To Barkley, LeBron's appearance on the Pat McAfee show, where he openly went after reporters like Stephen A. Smith and Brian Windhorst, only confirmed what he'd believed for years. In Barkley's view, LeBron is no longer trying to dominate purely through greatness, but instead trying to control the narrative to secure the GOAT label, even if that means calling out anyone who disagrees. He labeled it bully behavior without hesitation. And Pippen wasn't finished either. In that same interview, he made his position even clearer, explaining why he doesn't believe LeBron and Michael Jordan.
Like LeBron has to spread that out for 20 plus years. It's not the same drive. It's not the same fight. It's not the same hunger. And so when people try to make those comparisons of those two players, it's like talking to someone in the front seat and the back seat. They ain't even.
According to Pippen, Michael Jordan compressed a lifetime of greatness into roughly 12 to 14 years. Pure dominance with no off nights, no coasting, no load management, just relentless fire every time he stepped on the floor. LeBron, by contrast, stretched his career across 2 decades, pacing himself, managing minutes, and playing a more calculated long game. To Pippen, that difference is proof the competitive drive isn't the same. In his view, Jordan burned hotter for a shorter period, while LeBron has burned longer but dimmer. It's a brutal comparison, yet one that's gaining traction among old-school legends, raised on blood, sweat, and raw willpower. To them, LeBron's greatness feels too polished and strategic, effective, but not ruthless enough. That belief is why the tension between LeBron and the old guard has never felt more explosive. As they see it, the hunger isn't the same, and the fire doesn't burn like it once did. So where does that leave LeBron James in the eyes of those who lived the game at its highest level? Charles Barkley has openly labeled him a bully and a control freak, arguing that he lacks the cold, killer instinct that defined Jordan and Kobe. Scottie Pippen has added his own criticism, claiming his team's success surpasses LeBron's because LeBron had to chase championships rather than earn them through loyalty and grind. For years, Barkley has repeated the same idea. LeBron is too nice, too polished to be mentioned alongside